This is Aiken and you're watching 2 Minute Tips. This week I'm going to take you through how I do my kick drums. It's a very brief and very quick introduction into what I do. It's not a quick fix, but it will certainly give you some ideas and some help for your own productions. So let's carry on. So this is what it sounds like without any kick in it at all. Let's start the clock. 2 minutes. Let's go. Dragging in a pre-kick. This pre-kick effectively it's like a reversed kind of sound that I put just before my kicks. In with a sub and obviously a transient as well. So just line these up and select them and duplicate them. I'm going to be looking at the pre-kick in just a few moments, but first I'm going to EQ the sub kick. This is my own preset EQ where I can just alter some of the frequencies. I'm very well aware of what happens with this kick drum, so I can just dial in as and when. I like to take a little bit of the top end out, but can still maintain the mid and take a lot of the bass out as well, because the sub is going to cover all that. With kick drums, it also needs to be mono as well, so make sure you put in a mono utility on there. It's Ableton's stock mono utility. You can just drag it from the effects rack on the left-hand side. I do this with all sections of the kick drum. This is the transient. It's effectively just the high clicky kind of top sound. And then finally the pre-kick, which is a reversed white noise that goes just before the kick hits. Drop some EQ just so I can see what the frequencies are doing on all of the things. Low cut over the whole entire sound. Get rid of all that low end frequency noise. You don't really need any of that. So cut it all out. That is the pre-kick, all sorted and nice. Now for the top kick. That sounds good to me. And the sub, nice and thick. Throw it all together. And that's effectively kind of it. I group them as well and mono the group, and I'll EQ the entire group itself just by putting a bit of a low cut on there and some high cut as well, just to get rid of all the other frequencies. Other than that, that is kind of it. I'm going to go into some more depth in just a minute. This is what it sounds like together. So I'm going to go into some depth about how I've done this. The pre-kick, I call it a pre-kick. It's just reverse white noise. I put it before my kicks. It just kind of, it ramps it up. It just cuts it through the mix a little bit better. And I like to make it nice and high as well by putting a low cut and dragging that all the way up to the top, so it's nice and sharp. Not too loud. You don't need it too loud. Just make sure it's in balance with everything else. Next, this is my transient kick. It's just a clicky noise, effectively. I also put a mono utility on there as well, and not forgetting the EQ. So you can dial out so you can get it a little bit sharper, but I quite like the mid frequencies, and there's not a lot of low in it, so it doesn't really matter. This is the sub, quite important, the most important thing, and this is my own preset. It's nice and thick, and I've developed this over time. Let's turn that on so you can see what's going on. I like to cut out all of this low end. That will be filled later on with the sub frequencies. This is quite interesting. That adds a lot of thickness as well to the kick. You don't want to go too high with that because that will mess about with your sub. This is something I dial in and out. It varies along the spectrum depending on what kind of kick I'm using. I tend to use this and I'll just dial in and out as I see fit. But the rest of it, these are all just like top things, just gets rid of all the transients. So the transient kick is more audible along with the pre-white noise as well. So that's kind of it. Don't forget to put your mono on there as well. You don't want your sub kicks or any kind of part of your kick to be stereo. And that's really it, to be honest with you. There's no kind of space science or anything else involved. This track is available for download. It's called Noculus. It's my recently released track. You can get it for free as well from my SoundCloud, or you can just go to aikenmusic.co.uk. All the information's there. That's it for this week. I'm going to be back Friday next week, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you do want me to cover anything, then do comment below.